Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We are going to be videotaping this, and the slides that we're going to be showing will be made available on the website later for you. We used to make copies, but in the spirit of cutting costs, we don't make copies anymore. So I'm going to cover a lot of material, but if you could save your questions for the very end, I think that would be very helpful. I think we've got a great group here this morning, and I really appreciate you guys coming out in this bad weather to hear what all we have to say. I am just at the point where I need reading glasses, so bear with me. This is a new thing for me. I really want to let you all know that the data that I'm going to be going over is from several sources. We've used data from the National Association of Realtors, NCAR, and our own Carolina MLS. But we also have used information that we'll be presenting from the Department of Commerce, Wells Fargo Securities, the Conference Board, Consumer Research Center, as well as the U.S. Department of Labor and the North Carolina Administrative Courts and Realty Track. So a lot of resources for your information. I do want to thank Kim Walker, who helped put this presentation together, because really without her we could not be doing what we're doing here this morning. So thank you, Kim. The next slide. I'm going to show you two slides that we typically show when we are out speaking at a Rotary, because this is sort of information you guys already know, but I think it's really important that you know that when we're speaking in the public, we make a point of saying who we are. The Charlotte Regional Realtor Association is your professional trade association. It is owned and governed by realtors, and we're proud of that fact. We're very proud of the fact that realtors abide by a code of ethics, and the code of ethics is very much tied into everything you guys do through the Carolina Multiple Listing Service. So right now we're at about 7,000 members, give or take. We're, as you know, in the midst of the dues renewal, but we seem to have fewer than 1,000 right now have either dropped, terminated, or have gone on waiver. So to be determined. You will hear more in the coming weeks. From the MLS standpoint, something to be proud of. We are the largest MLS between Atlanta and Washington, D.C. still. Despite our number drop, we are down to about 7,000 subscribers right now in our 10-county region. But again, we are very proud of the fact that our MLS is owned and governed by realtors. We know there's some recent competition out there, the North Carolina Property Data Exchange. We take that competition seriously, and Steve will be talking a little bit more about a handout that we have for you all, or Natalia, that explains the value you guys get in Carolina MLS. So we don't take that lightly, and nor should you. Okay, we know this slide. All right, before we jump into the housing indicators, we're going to first take a look at some of the national economic indicators. We're going to cover a little bit of national, a little bit of state, and then talk about our local regional market. And I always preface my remarks that I'm not an economist, nor am I a statistician. So I will do my best to present the statistics and information that we have for you, and I will do my best to answer your questions, but there may be questions that I have to get back to you on. So I think everybody's heard that national economists have said that the recession's over and that it ended sometime in 2009. I think a lot of people have a hard time accepting that, and that's the reality. Dr. John Connaughton with UNC Charlotte, who's an economic forecaster, concluded at the end of 2010 that this is the worst post-World War II recession that we've experienced. Now, I'm starting off rather stark, but it does get better. That statement aside, we have now seen 6 consecutive quarters of growth and recovery in the U.S. GDP rate. And this growth started during the third quarter of 2009 and has risen consistently. On the other hand, the U.S. lost 8.4 million jobs since the recession began 2 years ago. December 2010's U.S. unemployment rate was 9.4. I believe there was a CNN news alert this morning that U.S. employment rate has dropped below 9%. I don't know that we know yet what Charlotte's is at this point. This has steadily been coming down, and today's news is good news. Today's news aside, in North Carolina, December's unemployment rate was still at 9.8%. And the North Carolina Employment Security Commission announced that North Carolina gained 2,300 jobs during the month of December. However, there's only been 10,400 new jobs created in North Carolina total in 2010. Consumer confidence does remain weak, and growth, which is usually driven by consumer confidence, will have to come from other sectors of the economy at this point. This chart shows the U.S. Consumer Confidence Index since January 2008. Consumer confidence is the degree of optimism that consumers feel about the overall state of the economy, their personal financial situation, and income stability related to spending activity. And as you can see, consumer confidence was high in January 2008 at about 87 points. And for most of 2007 and 6, the index was at 100 points or above. But 2008, it had dropped to 87. What's even more interesting is you will see a drop in consumer confidence that correlates between events. So there was the financial bailout in October of 2008, healthcare reform in March of 2009. And in March of 2009, it was absolutely, consumer confidence was at its lowest at about 25 points. It has been going back up. And in May of 2007, it was back up to about 62 during the home buyer's tax credit extension. And it continues at about that level now. At the end of 2010, the Wall Street Journal announced 4 issues to watch in 2011 that will continue to affect our housing market. And the first issue is Washington. I'm not going to belabor that point, but it remains to be seen what will happen with regards to the recommendations on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and broader mortgage market reforms. There's another lingering question out there, according to the Wall Street Journal, about what regulators and policymakers will do with respect to second mortgages. The second issue is foreclosure delays. And as you all know, in September 2010, some of the largest banks suspended foreclosures due to potentially fraudulent document handling procedures. Most of the banks said it was a technical problem. But regulators and state prosecutors have launched some lawsuits, so it remains to be seen whether there will be further delays. Our position, which we will cover again at the end, is that we stand by the laws as it relates to foreclosures. And while delays may temporarily reduce inventories, those foreclosures will eventually have to come on the market. A third issue is concerning lending standards and rates. The new reality is that 9 in 10 new loans are backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac or government agencies like FHA. The fourth issue is jobs and continued job creation, and I've touched upon that. A fifth point that we've added is negative headlines and news. The media is very frustrating, and last night I was reading Business North Carolina. How many of you get Business North Carolina? Well, for the first time ever, they always name a mover and shaker for the prior year. The mover and shaker for 2010 is the mortgage. And I quote, "That common everyday thing in the mortgage is our mover and shaker of the year. This is the first time Business North Carolina has assigned the mover and shaker designation to a non-human." So I encourage you guys to read that article. It's an interesting read. Now we're going to step back a little bit and look at the history of housing as an investment. I think this is a very positive slide. From 1950 until about 2000, home prices remained relatively stable, as you can see, and in the same range with upticks in the late 70s and early 80s. By the year 2000, you can see how quickly home prices rose, peaking in 2006, followed by a sharp decline in 2007 and 2008. And again, these are national numbers. We actually saw our peak here in CMLS for the number of closings in 2007. In 2006, but our prices peaked in 2007. And then again, since 2008, home prices have continued to decline. This is actually one of my favorite slides. The bubble began, they say, in 1998 and peaked in 2006 and burst somewhere around 2007, 2008, depending on where you lived. But according to Robert Schiller, if you invested $100,000 in the past decade, your return on that investment would either put you in the hole or not, depending on whether you invested in real estate. Real estate is still a wise investment. In a white paper released in October, Wells Fargo acknowledged that the long-term question about the viability of home ownership appears to be exaggerated. It even cited a recent survey by the National Association of Realtors that shows a large proportion of the population continues to believe that housing is a good investment. And you can see the negative return from the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ, but a 56.2 return in real estate, return on investment between 2000 and 2009. I'm going to cover a few more national statistics. For 2010, existing home sales totaled 4.9 million for all of 2010, which is a decrease of 2.9% from 2009. In December 2010, existing home sales were up 12.3% when compared to November 2010. The average sales price for all homes of 2010 was about $220,000, and this is up 1.9% compared to 2009. For the month of December, the average sales price was about $217,000, just down slightly from November. In December, investors accounted for about 20% of all the transactions, and first-time home buyers continued to purchase about 33% of all homes. According to NAR, on a national level, there's about an 8.1 month supply of inventory, which means we're still in a buyer's market. So CMLS's inventory is at about 10.9, 11 months. I think the Observer said 12, and they weren't using our data when they quoted that. Distressed home sales rose to about 36% market share. This is nationally, from 33% in November and 32% from a year ago. Now for some North Carolina statistics statewide. Across the state, there are about 80,568 total homes sold in 2010. This is down 1% compared to 2009. In December, there were about 6,500 homes sold in North Carolina. That was up 21% compared to the previous month and about 7% from the previous year, December. The average sales price in North Carolina was about $203,000, and again, it was up compared to prices in North Carolina a year ago. Glass half full, glass half empty. It's a positive number. This chart tracks the average sales price over the last year, comparing CMLS, our 10-county service area, to the Triad, the Triangle, NCAR statewide numbers, and the U.S. average sales price. The black line, which is about the third one down, is this average sales price in CMLS. And prices in our region pretty much trend closely with prices across the state, which is represented by what I would call the red line right below it. The average price in the Triangle, which is the green line, shows sales prices in that area trending a little bit higher, and the Triad considerably lower in the purple line on the bottom. Okay. Now this slide and the next slide I call the bad news and the good news. This chart indicates and compares the total number of homes sold in the service area to the total number of homes sold in Mecklenburg County since 2003. 2006 is the peak, where we had 43,000 closings in 2006. Mecklenburg County accounted for about 51% of those sales. Since 2006, as you all know, sales have declined 49% since our peak. Mecklenburg's closings still account for about 48% of all sales transactions in the 10-county service area. That's the bad news. This is the good news. This chart compares the average sales price in the region to the average sales price in Mecklenburg County. The average sales price in the county remains slightly higher than the region. The last chart showed closings for us peaking in 2006, but as you can see here, our average sales price peaked in 2007. And since the peak in 2007, CMLS's average sales price in 2010, which appears to be leveling off, is down about 3%, 13% from the peak. So market down about 49%, but sales price is down about 13%. The average sales price for Mecklenburg County is down 8.9% compared to the peak. And the current trend is reassuring. Prices since 2009 appear to be increasing slightly, if not leveling off. This gives an indication looking at pending contracts as compared to closings. And again, we can see the phenomenal pending contract activity back in 2004 and 2005 that led to the peak in 2006. And currently, I would say pendings and closings pretty much trend alongside pretty evenly. This gives you the number of pendings for each month last year. And you can see the buildup of contracts that occurred probably largely due to the extension of the tax credit. The second half of the year, pretty much you can see our market stabilizing once the tax credit went away. And the December activities shows a very slight uptick in the number of contracts pending. The next slide shows the percentage of sales price by price range. And we are selling in all price ranges. Homes priced at $120,000 or less make up the bulk of the sales at about 35%. And at the close of 2009, that category accounted for about 32%. So it has stayed pretty consistent. In December 2008, that same category, though, was about 20% of the sales. And that's the 120,000 or less. This gives you an idea of comparison to homes sold from 2003 to 2010 by the surrounding counties: Cabarrus, Gaston, Iredell, Lincoln, and Union. And I don't know how many of you cannot see the very bottom, but again, as I mentioned, these slides will be available to you on the website. But immediately, the purple is Union County, and you see the phenomenal growth that that county has had over the years by the purple bars, which really do stand out. Cabarrus County is denoted by the black bars, and Iredell County, indicated by the red bars, also experienced major growth from about 2004 to about 2006. Gaston and Lincoln, which are the blue and the green lines, are fairly low, but they're also fairly steady. And because they've been steady, they haven't had sharp declines like the other counties in our market. Similar to comparing CMLS to the state, this is a breakout of the surrounding counties and their price ranges. Just in a, you can see in the purple, which is represented by Union County, averaged the highest as far as average sales price. The average sales price increased from 2004, peaked in 2007, and current trends point prices throughout these counties is really leveling off in the last couple months. Again, Lincoln, Cabarrus, and Gaston's pricings are in the range of where pricing was for those counties in 2004. Not dramatically changing in those counties from a pricing standpoint either. For our service area, again, comparing Mecklenburg and Iredell counties to the entire service area, from 2004 through 2010, the gray bar indicates price changes for CMLS. And this graph shows overall that changes in prices were minimal from 2004 to 2007 for the gray bar. Mecklenburg County is what I would call the pinkish red bar, which is next to the gray bar. Shows pricing that changed dramatically from 2005 to 2006. And the purple bar represents Iredell County. That's the farthest one over. Shows more of a dramatic price change in early 2004 and 2005. But can you go back to that real quick? But I do want to end with what we are seeing right now for 2010. All 2010 is leaving us with what we're seeing as a average price increase for Mecklenburg County and the entire MLS of about 4%. Now I'm going to touch on the foreclosure issue briefly, and I'm about to wrap up, but obviously all anybody ever talks about right now are foreclosures and short sales. And again, as I said earlier, we have a stated position that we believe all homeowners deserve a fair chance to save their homes, but at the same time some foreclosures are inevitable. A foreclosure moratorium without an end date may temporarily ease inventories, but eventually those houses need to come on the market and work through the system. It's debatable whether the shadow market is exaggerated or not. I don't think we know. It is an unknown. Foreclosures do affect the average sales price. there's no question, and they affect local inventories. And the effect of a moratorium is simply holding back those homes that will have to be absorbed. So until we see those homes work through the market, we really won't see CMLS's local market fully stabilized. Just putting it in perspective though, this map is from RealtyTrack, and they track all foreclosures nationally. And what RealtyTrack found was that on a national level, foreclosures were down a bit in the third quarter of 2010. At the time we were putting this together, fourth quarter from RealtyTrack was not available. But December's 2010 data for the U.S., North Carolina, and Mecklenburg County shows a decline in foreclosures since October when we last presented these numbers. But again, we think that's largely due to the bank's self-imposed moratorium. When comparing North Carolina to foreclosures in December, foreclosures across compared to the state decreased about 3.2%. But even in Mecklenburg County, RealtyTrack saw a decrease of 3% in foreclosure for Mecklenburg County. The North Carolina Administrative Courts actually said that filings decreased about 4.9% compared to a year ago. Again, though, tempered with the fact that there was a lot of banks doing self-imposed moratorium. The last time I reported on foreclosures, Mecklenburg County's average foreclosure sales price was at about $137,000, and that average sales price has now decreased about 12% to the current average of $120,000. And this is not from MLS data, this is from RealtyTrack. I just want to remind you guys. We are continuously asked by our members and the media what percentage of properties in the MLS are foreclosures. We don't quote on that. We don't have solid statistics on that. However, we are going to have a new tool for all of you to use that Kim is going to be going over later when we talk about some of our new statistical reporting tools that we've got for you all that will include a report that will be called the Lender Mediated Report, along with other reports that will be available to you that will give a little more accurate of a snapshot of the market within the MLS. So we do have some challenges coming up. Challenges you guys have been facing for a couple years now. Nothing new here. Foreclosures, short sales, the time it takes to process bank-owned property challenges, closings are challenged, financing is challenging, and as I said earlier, consumer confidence. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say we got to look at this from the positive. We need to not be afraid, and I say we collectively, you need to be not afraid. This is the new norm. This is the new market. And we need to embrace it. We know the media is not going to. And a message NAR has sent out is that you all, as ambassadors on behalf of the industry in your communities, need to carry this message out. When you're at the Rotary, when you're at church, when you're at any civic organization, when they ask you about the market, you need to be positive. This is it. This is a great place to live. This is a great time to buy. All markets are cyclical. They go up, they go down. It is what it is. And I think you guys have every reason to be bullish about the Charlotte market. Because, as indicated earlier, real estate continues to be the best long-term investment. And the reality is, if foreclosures and bank-owned property are a bulk of our market, well, the good news is when the banks take over, they improve that property. They pay the property taxes. There are improvements made. Those houses need to get sold, and they will get sold. Affordability is prevalent in our market. And there is a supply and there is a demand. The key is education and equipping you guys to deal with this market. So I'm actually going to close and segue over to our next speaker, who is going to be Debbie Way, and we're going to have several speakers who are going to present a variety of tools, services, programs that we have here. Some are new, some aren't, that we want to make sure you guys are aware of so that we can help you be successful in this new norm. Thank you.
Anne-Marie, before you sit down, I have a question.
We're going to save all questions for the end. It's just going to be easier time-wise. Thanks, Anthony.
Don't forget to turn off your mic.
I don't know.
Oh, you were using it. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Debbie Way, Assistant Director of CMLS Policy. And I'm not going to have anything on the screen up here, but you should have received a handout when you came in that I'm going to be going over. The title is Active Due Diligence Status and New Fields Implemented in Tempo. So if you want to follow along with me, I am working from this handout. So as you all know, the North Carolina Association of Realtors implemented a new offer to purchase and contract January 1st of 2011, and the Charlotte Regional Realtor Association has coordinated several different things that you guys can do to get educated about the new forms. First of all, the mandatory update class is dedicated in large part to reviewing the new offer to purchase and contract. And then also Priscilla Statistical has been teaching some forms courses through the Mingle School. Could I just see from a show of hands how many of you have taken that forms course? Okay, so that's a pretty good number. For those of you who haven't, I would really highly encourage you to take that, and I do know that they're going to be scheduling some more of those classes. So a lot of, Priscilla did talk about some of this information in the course that she did towards the end of her presentation, so if you attended that, then some of this will be repetitive. But we did implement a new active due diligence status in the CMLS database, Tempo, late in December. And the purpose for that status is when you have your offer to purchase and contract that's agreed to by the buyer and seller, and there's a due diligence period to that contract. If the seller wants to continue to market their property, then you can put the status of the listing on active due diligence. And when you do that, there is a field that you'll be required to input, which is called the due diligence period end date. So you'll input the end date, or the final date of when that due diligence period is for that particular field. You only use it if the seller wants to continue to show their property during that due diligence period. If the seller does not want to continue to show their property, then the correct status for that listing would be pending status. Okay. We also implemented some additional fields, particularly regarding the plat reference section of the offer to purchase and contract. So we changed the unit number field to lot/unit. We added a field called block/section, also a new field called platbook/slide, and we created a field called pages. All of these fields are optional fields. A lot of this information will come from the legal description of the property, and since legal descriptions vary, these fields are optional. You will complete them as you are able to do so. Another new field that we added is called fixtures exception. So I heard Priscilla give a really good example. The heirloom chandelier that you have in the dining room, if that's not going to convey with the property, that would be a fixtures exception. You can note that in the offer to purchase and contract, as well as there's now a field in Tempo that you can fill in to note what that exception is going to be. Another new field is called, there's a section of the contract called seller representations, and there are 3 new fields in Tempo that go along with that particular section of the contract. We have a field called ownership, where you indicate whether or not the seller has owned the property for at least 1 year, the seller has owned the property for less than 1 year, or the seller does not yet own the property. So that's going to be a required field, and you'll need to complete that. The next one, primary residence, yes, no. This is also a required field, and you'll need to complete and disclose whether or not the property is the primary residence of the seller. We've actually received a lot of questions about this particular field at CMLS, because I guess there are a lot of situations out there where the seller, it is their primary residence, but they haven't been living there and things like that. So if you have any questions about the meaning of any of the blanks on the offer to purchase and contract, you should contact the North Carolina Association of Realtors. They have what they call the Risk Watch line that you can call, and their legal counsel is able to walk you through what the meaning of the fields on the contract are. So that would be my recommendation if you do have questions. Another new field, subject to HOA. You're disclosing whether or not there is an HOA for the community. Owners Association disclosure and addendum. There were some changes to that particular form as well that require you to disclose whether or not there's a confirmed special assessment or a proposed special assessment. So we have added fields in the MLS for those particular requirements of the forms as well. And then finally, we added a list of names to the document attachments that you can upload into Tempo. You can upload PDFs, text files, different types of documents as attachments to your listings, and you now have additional names that you can designate, hey, this particular attachment is the Articles of Incorporation or the Owners Association disclosure form, things like that. So, and then if there is an attachment that you need to upload that isn't one of the ones listed here, there's also a blank where you can fill in a description of what that attachment is. So I also gave you one other handout as well that I'm not going to go through, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone has this. It's a document called Get Permission First, and it talks about what the rules are with regard to posting listings on Facebook that are not your listings. And then on the back of that is an article regarding display of CMLS statistics in different types of media, internet, any type of flyers or handouts that you might be distributing in neighborhoods. This information is a compilation of what the rules are in the CMLS rules and regulations, as well as what the Code of Ethics requires. So do try to review that information, because a lot of agents are making use of those particular tools right now to try to promote themselves and promote listings. So just make sure that you're doing it in compliance with the rules and the Code of Ethics. And that's all for me. Steve.
Something new that we just added right on CarolinaRealtors.com. If you go to CarolinaRealtors.com and click on CMLS and log in, and look here right under RE Technology. This is a new service. We've partnered with the Wave Group who created this website called RE Technology. And what it is really I couldn't come up with a great word for it, a forum, a blog, a list, an advertisement page. It's basically just a space where they are listing real estate technology tools, and it's a place for you to go look to see what you might be interested in. And they have several different kind of indexes, or several different ways to access these tools. And first you're going to have to log in. And the first time you go to this, you're going to need to set up an account. And it's a pretty quick and easy, painless process to just put in a little bit of information. And I hope I remember my password. And I do. All right. To tell you the truth, I'm not really excited about the layout of the site, and I think that it is a work in progress. It's something kind of new. But it works. It's just I struggled a little bit to find what I was looking for when I was testing it out for this presentation. But they've grouped things in several different ways to get to the information. By agent, so information specifically designed for agents, a list of agent products, a list of companies that provide products for agents, product reviews, articles that are basically about products, reports, and then columns. Columns are recurring articles from the same writer. They have the same list under the broker department, so this is really for broker, more about applications and systems for brokers in charge of your company. They have a section on news, they have a product directory, they have an index of their contributors, and then they have a way, if you are creating a technology product that you think other realtors will be interested in, a way to sign your company up. So I'm just going to look under agent, and let's just say you're interested in products that are relevant to agents, and you will see a product list. You can organize it by what type of product you're looking for. Are you looking for a blog or a content manager, or products that are, for example, use Facebook and interface with Facebook, legal services, lockbox, all kinds of third-party add-on, I call them add-on products. So you can pick your category, or you can just scroll down and browse. Property Minder. They have the name of the company over here, the name of the product here, and then they have the category that it's in, and there's some stars and some ratings, which most companies use. So let's just say you're interested in Goomsy. You can click on this link and go check it out. It'll tell you what the product is, what it does, who to contact, and also it tells you whether or not this would work in our market. So as you know, or you may not know, we don't have an interface with every single product out there. And before we'll give away your valuable MLS data, we want to get that company approved by the board of directors before we're going to hand over data for products. Some products don't need the MLS data. Some products you just interface with yourself as the agent. Some products need only your data. Some products need all the data. So if it's a product like, for example, a CMA product that uses everyone's data, we have to get that company approved before we'll let them start working in our market. Okay, so down in the corner of most of these products, it'll kind of tell you whether or not it's something you can use in our market or not. Okay, it's a really good system, and like I said, it gives you multiple paths to basically the same information. So however you want to approach it as an agent, as a broker, or just look through news articles. They have technology news, RE technology news, and then they have general technology news where you see articles about iPads and iPhones and Droids and things like that, and then just general press releases that come from technology companies or from real estate companies. I was looking through these the other night. Pretty interesting stuff. So I encourage you to get on our website, pop over to RE Technology, create an account, and check it out on a daily basis. You can also sign yourself up for email notices. You can sign up for an RSS data feed. Anything you find on this site, you'll always see the share up in the top corner where you can share it out on Facebook, or you can tweet about it, you can send an email about it. So you can take these articles and deliver them to other people also. All right? RE Technology. Now, let me go back and show you one more thing. This is a service that we've had for quite some time, but we suspect that not everybody knows about it, so we just want to make sure that you know what it is and how it works, and that's data syndication. We partnered with a company named 3Y for their product ListHub, and what ListHub does is syndicate data on your behalf. Now, remember, in this state, who owns listings?
The broker.
The broker in charge, right. So only the broker in charge can make the decision about data syndication. An agent can't create an account and decide to syndicate data. The broker in charge of the firm can. Currently, we have about 70% of our listings being syndicated through ListHub right now. So we have a pretty good participation rate, and the company's pretty happy about it. But there's still 30% that aren't. So we just want to get the news out there and make sure that all the brokers sign up and use ListHub. And basically, you can go to CMLS, click on Data Services, ListHub Data Syndication, and you can click this link to go to their website, the ListHub website, and you would create an account, again, if you're the broker in charge, and you would pick from these channels. They call them channels, I call them web portals, you can call them whatever you want. You may have read recently that Google has gotten out of the business, so Google will be removed from that list. You may also have read that there's a partnership between Zillow and Yahoo now. Yahoo listings are going to be delivered by Zillow. So Yahoo is probably going to go off this list, or maybe Zillow is. I don't know how they're going to do it. But you create an account, you pick and choose which channels you want your listings delivered to, and 3Wide will deliver your listings to those channels. And I created just a quick little graphic to kind of show you how that works. I don't like the touchpad either, Kim. I'd rather have a real mouse.
You need a mouse. I don't have problems.
Basically, it's like this. Tempo has the listings. We send the listings to 3Wide. And then you see next to the 3Wide server, you see a preferences page. And you see on the top right-hand corner, a member participant gets on their computer, creates an account, and enters their settings on the preferences page. Which channels do you want your listings delivered to? Then, only based on your settings, 3Wide delivers those listings to portals. And I think the portal I used at the bottom, I think, is a Trulia as an example. Then a consumer searches listings on Trulia. And then when they pull up a listing that happens to be yours, they click a button to request more information. When they request more information, one of two things happens. Either, and this is the default, they get the detailed property page on carolinahome.com, which has your contact information on it. However, if your company has created an IDX site or a website with details of listings on it, and you have the ability to direct traffic straight to that page for that listing, then you can set that up through 3Wide and have the traffic delivered to you. So the end goal here is that you take the power of consumer portals and you bring it all the way down to your website. That's what listing syndication is all about. We've been with ListHub for 2 years, I want to say, if not longer. And we think it's a good thing. One last thing I want to tell you before I'm done, and that is just to remind you that we have technology training at no additional cost. I don't want to say free because you pay a monthly fee, right? It's technology training at no additional cost. We teach you, Brian Perkins, who's sitting in the back, is our primary instructor, and then we have a couple of consultant type of instructors. He does customized classes for everything tempo related, applications for listing agents and buyer's agents, report manager and searches and grids and client gateway and prospecting. Plus we do Microsoft products, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher, Outlook, and we're on Office 2010 now. Okay? So our buzz phrase is sign up and show up. As long as you sign up and show up, it's free. If you sign up and don't show up, it's a $15 charge. Okay? Not only that, but you can come here, or Brian also goes off-site to visit different counties and computer labs across the area, and he will also come to your office and talk to you personally if you need tempo training or some hand-holding or a little bit of help or help with Tempo 5. Brian is a good guy. He will come out and take care of you. Okay? I don't know who's next. I'm sorry.
Me.
Kim. Next will be Kim Walker.
Good morning. I'm Kim Walker, and I'm excited to talk to you all about our new statistical reporting tools that we have available. They're going to hopefully be taking effect, I think, sometime at the end of February, but you'll definitely get an update from us through either e-headlines, Realtor Reflections, as well as our association weekly news if you receive that. That will let you know when these reports will be available for you. But let's just jump right in. Basically, we've got a collection of about 5 reports that will be PDF format. The first one I'm going to talk about is our local market update, and this is a one-page report that provides an update on sales trends for the counties and the areas that we've listed out here. So this report is going to follow metrics that we watch closely, like your new listings, closed sales, median and average sales price, percent of original list price received, days on market, as well as current inventory of homes and month supply of homes. It's going to compare those metrics to the previous year and show the percent change, as well as give you a nice little chart of either the median or the average. And we know that everyone here is used to seeing the average, so we are still working with the company that is helping us to prepare these reports and working out some technical things that we'd like to see and have customized to our market. So, but this is a one-page report, but essentially we're going to get 20 reports or 21 reports based, so you'll have a report that's based on, say, Mecklenburg County, or even Mecklenburg County and, let's say, Area 7, if you're just, wanting to see what's happening each month in Area 7. As well as what I don't have listed here, so we'll have a report that shows the MSA, because we're often asked what's happening from an MSA standpoint. So that'll be available. Let's go to the next slide. So look for that particular report, and that's going to be coming on a monthly basis. We also have a monthly indicators report that's going to be a little bit more in depth, and I'm just showing you the first page to kind of get you familiar with how this is going to look. All of this data, of course, is coming through CMLS. It's going to be CMLS powered data, and this is going to be a 12-page report that is going to feature a brief analysis of the month sales activity for the entire region. So it's going to give you a little bit of analysis there. It's going to show data and charts that will have trends for the past 3 to 4 years and present a comprehensive look at what's happening across the region. Again, this is only the front page, so you've got about, this is a 12-page, a very thorough, in-depth look at what's happening in the market. So the next one, I think Anne-Marie alluded to this report, the lender-mediated report. This is going to be a 5-page monthly report that will dig into the trends between traditional and lender-mediated listings. And your lender-mediated listings are your pre-foreclosure, short sales, lender-owned listings that are listed and sold in the MLS. And so it's going to show some trends that are happening. This is not going to be for, this report will show data and pull data for all of the areas and counties that we have listed here, but it's going to be all compiled into one large report for you. So basically it's going to be a good snapshot of what's happening in the MLS. It's going to come with some very strong disclaimers, though, because we understand that this is the special fields, special conditions field, I should say, that's you all check to show whether something's pre-foreclosure or just where it is not a mandatory fill. So the company that is doing this for us is going to be able to look for common terms through their methodology. They'll be able to pull out 30-some common terms that are used or that reference distressed sales in some way, and then pull all of that together. They'll then look for any anomalies and put out, take those, filter out those that are not actual lender-mediated sales, but basically give you a good snapshot of what is truly happening in the MLS with respect to distressed sales. So this has been, I guess, this is the one thing that we're constantly asked, and we have not really pursued it because it's not a mandatory thing for us or for you all. So we know that the information, or we don't believe the information will be truly accurate if we were to actually say, here's the percentage of listings that are foreclosures within the MLS. So definitely look for this report. It's going to be pretty interesting, I'm sure. There will also be a weekly market activity report, and this is a 9-page report that you'll be able to go to weekly. And I'm assuming that all of this is going to probably be found where our regular monthly reports are already located under the CMLS Education tab. But this report will follow certain trends and metrics that are listed right here on the right-hand side. Of course, the usual: new listings, pending sales, inventory of homes for sale. Basically, they'll give you a little index, and then you'll be able to just kind of flip through and see just what's happening with those trends. They'll compare that data to data over the last 3 or 4 years, so you'll really get a look at what's happening over the long term and not just the quick glance at what the change was a year ago. So a little bit more in depth. Another PDF report that's going to be available to you is the housing supply overview. And this is a 7-page report that's going to show trends by prices, home types, and construction. And this will be a monthly report as well. So one final thing that we're going to, and I call it the thing, that we're going to look at. What is the thing? This is actually a tool that you're going to probably love. You'll love to play around with it. Essentially, it's an interactive market analytics tool or web page that will bring our MLS indicators to life. It's called The Thing because it's not an app. It's not a blog, it's not a publication or a report, it's just a cool thing that does cool stuff. So let's take a look, and hopefully Tara can drive because I'm not good with going without a mouse here. But basically, we're looking at Minneapolis Association of Realtors. They're giving us a sneak peek of this. This will be customized for CMLS. And essentially, Tara, if you'll click here, this box will be loaded with all of our areas, all the way counties, areas, sub-areas, zip codes, neighborhoods, subdivisions. So everything that you're able to basically search CMLS for already, or not CMLS, but the MLS, and look at by neighborhood, you'll be basically picking one of your areas. So let's just start with the first one, which was Twin.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what Elko is. Some of these are probably, let's just start with their first one. So basically, if you click on price ranges, it's very user-friendly. It's going to load that data and show you what's happening. As you can see, 2008, 2009, 2010, and they've got some price ranges here. They've got the change that's occurring. If you click on, for instance, let's say, percent of original sales price, these metrics at the bottom will appear on our screen as well, and we will have one, of course, it's going to say average sales price, but in a lot of other markets, they're just focusing on the median. So click on percent of original list price. You'll kind of be able to click through and see these different changes going on, days on market for me. All of this, you can print it to a PDF, share it, Facebook, social media, or email it, or download it so that you're able to use it and drop it into a nice little presentation. This is very powerful information that just brings it all right to the surface immediately for you, puts it in your hands. You can sit there with your clients and you're clicking and showing them exactly what's happening in our market. Basically, the data is, and Steve's probably going to have to help me with this, but stats are updated daily for the previous 12 months through this methodology. The data and calculations older than 12 months are frozen in time, but data 12 months or younger will be refreshed nightly by the company that is powering the thing. This is going to enable faster load times for you, but basically they are refreshing this data every night. So, and then they run thousands of methodology or calculations based on what they think agents are looking for. So it's not real time, but it's just as good. So, definitely look for this, and I'm sure that we'll be trying to talk you through or do some sort of training to get you very comfortable with it. But it is very user-friendly. All of the buttons basically that Tara was kind of pushing on the bottom and here to the side will show different metrics, a different chart based on whatever you are looking for.
So this is available now?
It's coming. I would say, Emory, probably what? Middle of February, last of February. We're still
worst case early March, but
yeah. What we're doing is we're still testing it out. They're still customizing it to us. We've got some things going on in the background that we need to make sure of, and we want to make sure that it totally syncs up with what you have been receiving thus far. So look for that. I know we will definitely be advertising this. So, but it's a really cool tool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Natalia Russo. I'm going to walk you through some of the other best kept secrets we have here at the association. Let me get out of this.
Close the tab.
I can do it from here. We're going to start on CarolinaRealtors.com, where we hope that you're going all the time to look at the new announcements that we have going on. And first, I'm going to kind of follow up with what Kim was saying about statistics. We already have a lot of statistics out there, but sometimes it's hard for people to find them, so I just want to go through and show you where everything is. Right here under Media Center, we have a tab called Market Reports and Surveys. And under that, there's monthly reports where you can find all kinds of information about residential property, commercial property, different areas. But one of the things that people like that we have is something that Tara Howie creates here at the association, is these statistical charts, which are very similar to the data you're going to be seeing in the thing. But this is available now, and it goes back, I think, to 2006. And this is a series of PowerPoints that you can use in listing presentations. Has a lot of great information. Farther down, it compares data to the state and the National Association of Realtors data. So there's a lot of great information here. Also here we have a tab for surveys. The National Association of Realtors helps us out with a lot of data, and often you'll get some survey requests to reply to information going on. And they have the very popular home buyers and sellers report, and we just got this, I think, a couple weeks ago, but this is an oversample for some states, and it has information about first-time home buyers, people who use the internet for home searches, things that you'd like to know about your home buyers and sellers. So in this particular report, they're comparing different states, and they also do it by different MSA areas. Also here they have what I was saying, the home buyers and sellers report. On this tab as well, that we have the quarterly market report, which also comes from NAR, and this comes out about 6 weeks after the end of the quarter, but the most recent one here is from third quarter 2010, and it has more data than you could ever want about what's going on economically in this region.
The next one is probably February.
Yeah, the next one's probably coming out, I would say, the end of February, early March, so that'll be out there.
For fourth quarter.
Also on this tab under media, we have publications. People still call me and say, where's Realtor Reflections? I haven't received it for a couple of months. Truth of the matter is we haven't been printing it since mid-2009, but it is online, and we have our lovely Lori Knudsen right here. It's an interactive publication right now. We are aware that it's not the most reader-friendly, so we're actually working right now with our Publications Communications Advisory Group to make the publication more of a blog-style format, kind of more like what you would see for CharlotteObserver.com, something that's a little bit more interactive, easy to follow. We kind of see that's the way media is going, so look for that. Also under the publications, if you want to see what we did in the past few years, we have our year in review publications here, and it's also in that same format, but you can download this to a PDF and you can email it, you can print it out. A lot of people say that it's easier to actually read the publication once it's printed out. Also under the Media Center tab, we have news. If you want to see what's going on at the association at the board level, every month we post our actions of the boards, which is what went on in the CMLS, CRRA Association, and Foundation board meetings. These are the actions that took place. We also promote this through e-headlines and Realtor Reflections magazine, so if you forget to go here, we do try to give you that information as soon as it comes out. Also under this tab, how many of you subscribe to Inman News? The association provides it here for you for free. We don't have the archived membership, but anything that came out today is available here, the entire article. You can also email it. Under the Realtor Resources tab, we get a lot of questions about what are the benefits that I get for my dues. Actually, you have something in front of you. It's the A to Z document, which is just what we provide here as an association. But under the Realtor Resources tab here, we have website information about what's here at the association, and then at the state level and national level. This is the North Carolina Realtor Partners Program, and as you can see, you get a lot of discounts for your Realtor membership here through insurance companies, Office Depot, UPS. These are things that you should probably be looking at fairly frequently because they do update, and there is always a Partner of the Month, which we also promote out in e-headlines. I want to show you also something that we think is really cool. If you're ever looking for a document, for example, the one that Debbie gave you about the active due diligence status, everything is here in our Realtor Resources resource library. Let's see. If you go to articles, for example, we have the CMLS is a smart choice document. How many of you have heard of the North Carolina Property Data Exchange or have been solicited by it? Basically, we get a lot of questions about it. It's a realtor outside of our area who has kind of started his own MLS, and he's been soliciting agents from across the state to join this MLS. And in response, we really wanted to let you all know what you get as being a member of CMLS. And this document gives a lot of information that we have about rules, about who can participate in the MLS. And this is kind of us saying to you that we're aware that that's out there, but these are the reasons why we think CMLS is a smart choice for you. You also have a printout of that in your packet. So any documents you're looking for are most likely going to be in the resource library here. What else? Something else that we recently put together is the new home connection. We had a lot of builders coming to us saying that they really wanted to be able to get their inventory out to the members, but we're concerned about always putting the realtor out there first. So we created a page here called New Home Connection that's password protected. Only members can access it. And if you're looking for some listings by a particular builder, you can click on any of these featured builders and communities, and it'll come up what they're offering to you. But again, this is only for members. The public cannot see this. This is if they're inquiring about new homes in the MLS right now. Also something that we're offering, we partnered with a company that is offering discounts on phone accessories. If you see this little icon right here, there's free phone offers, free reduced priced accessories. There's a lot of great deals here, and we've heard feedback that they are really good deals. So if you're looking to change your service provider or upgrade a phone or something like that, I really encourage you to check this out. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to cover today. I think that's it. If any of you have any questions, you can contact us at any time. Let me show you where that is. Up here in the top right-hand corner, there's Contact Us, and the staff directory is here. If you're looking for a particular person, or if you're looking for general queue numbers, they're right here as well. Thank you.
We have Terry coming up.
This would be Terry coming up. Okay, I should have asked this prior to getting up here, but can someone tell me where my slides are at?
Yeah.
Thank you. While she's doing that, let me say this, that normally they don't give me a microphone, and that's because, number one, I can project without it, which is another way of saying I'm fairly loud. And number two, I love to talk about the foundation, and I can talk all day about the foundation, but don't worry, they've given me a very definitive period of time and I'm going to stick to it. But let's get started. We actually launched a website last summer in June that's fairly new, and because it's fairly new, we're still getting the word out there about it, but I wanted to bring it to your attention today, and I appreciate just a few moments of your time to share it with you. The name of that website is CarolinaHomePrograms.com, and it is a home financing tool. We're going to go through it very quickly. Let me give you some history on it. We are actually partnering with NAR on this program. We were chosen to participate in the expansion pilot project. It was initiated by Kansas City. They tested it in a few other locations, and we were one of 3 across the nation local associations to further expand it. So we're very excited about that and excited on your behalf. What is it? It is an online interactive tool that will assist you and your clients to identify sources of funds to help them purchase a home. The reason we're excited about this is, of course, this information is out there in a lot of places. Some of it's good information, some of it isn't, but there's not one comprehensive place that you can go to for that information. Somebody said to me when we were launching this, they said, well, isn't some of that on the HUD website? And my answer to them was, have you been on the HUD website? It is one of the most complicated things to navigate in your entire life. What do these resources include? Right now, they include federal, state, and local government fundings, programs, and also programs offered by private nonprofits in our community. So it is very localized. This is what the homepage looks like, and I'm going to touch base on some of the highlights. Now, one of the things that I would say to you, I would ask your patience, because this is a continually evolving site, and we've even changed some things actually since we did this PowerPoint presentation, because what we want to do is to bring you the most current information. So some of the things may have changed, but let's go through it quickly. Up there at the top, you'll see home buying process. This is some basic information, and when I did an interview with the Charlotte Observer about the site when we launched it, they said, what do you really want to accomplish? I want them to consider you as resources, obviously, but we also want to demystify the process. There's a lot of information out there that's kind of scary, and Anne Marie alluded to the media. We want to tell people, you know what, with some help and some assistance, you can make this happen. This is some basic information that you'll see here about the home buying process. What can I afford? How to find a realtor? What does it mean to make an offer on the home? Just some of those questions that people have as they start to think about this process. This is the basis of the site, and this is the program search. And this is the thing that we are very excited about. As I said, it's interactive. We've already preloaded some of the fields on this page. There are 3 simple questions there. How many people live in your household? Are you a first-time home buyer, yes or no? And what's your annual income? So we fill those in. The next step is, where do you live? Or in other words, what area are you looking in? Now, this is a multi-county effort, and as you can see there, it currently encompasses Anson, Cabarrus, the city of Charlotte, Gaston, Iredell, Mecklenburg, and Union. For the sake of our demonstration, we have picked the city of Charlotte. It then asks you, what type of assistance are you looking for? We've chosen some here. And these are the results of the fields that we've entered. So it does pull up and customize, according to what you've entered, some programs that you might qualify for. Now, I do want to be very specific. This site does not pre-qualify, it does not qualify. But it pulls up the information and does the research for you. And so if we clicked on that top one, this is a program offered by the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency on their down payment assistance program. It leads you through all the things. We are working very closely with all the organizations that are part of this program to make sure that we update the information as they make changes. And then, of course, at the bottom, it continues to emphasize the role of the realtor. Y'all are a tremendous resource in this process. We don't want them to forget that. But it also sends them directly to the program. And again, those organizations are prepared to take those calls on the other end. Going to the next header, consumer issues. You know, there's a lot of things, again, basic information that we want to help provide them. Here are some of the things you'll see. Now, obviously, you see homebuyer tax credit up there. That's one thing that we have since adjusted since we started this process. Predatory lending, a big issue. Foreclosure help. On the front page, the home page, you'll see there's a link to the foreclosure hotline. We've also gotten some feedback from people in the community that they'd like to see more foreclosure information on there, so we're working on that. One of the things I love about this site, I don't know if you can think back to the first time that you bought a house, but I went into the process and pretended that I knew what my realtor was talking about. Sure, I knew what escrow was. No, I didn't. This is a glossary of terms that just breaks down some of the things that they're going to hear in this process. Again, to make them a little less scary for someone who's entering into it. There's an About tab. And I want to reassure you that the address there, if you send an email address, it comes directly to me. My staff and I are monitoring that. They can also click on the logos that would take them back to the home pages. One of the other features that I'm incredibly excited about, and I get excited a lot, so y'all bear with me, but I'm really excited about this. For those of you who are in the back, you may not be able to see this, but down at the very bottom, there's a Translate tab, or a little link there. This site, including English, has the ability to read in 10 languages, and you'll see some of them right there. Again, this is not currently being offered in our community, and as diverse as our community is becoming, it's an incredible tool. Now, if you click on one of the languages, there's a disclaimer that pops up that says, you know, it's translated to the best of our abilities to protect us, but it will translate everything with the exception of the headers. Isn't that cool? Thank y'all for responding. Okay, so that's Carolina Home Programs. Now, again, I could go into a lot more detail, but what I want to get you to do today is to just be excited enough that you're going to go on the site and explore it on your own. We launched it in June of last year, and I'm so proud to tell you in December, at the end of December, over 4,300 people had gone and accessed the site. The City of Charlotte is using it. The Chamber is using it as a resource. Charlotte Center City Partners has posted it as a resource. Without a doubt, every time I take this into the community, people say, thank goodness the realtors are bringing this to us. It is desperately needed, and there is no group that should take it to the community as a resource more than you and your peers. So we're doing it as a community service on your behalf. Please use it, okay? Now, I can't talk about the work of the foundation without talking about Realtors Care Day. And I'm up here to beg and plead if I have to. I can do that well also. How many of you know that Realtors Care Day is April 8th this year? Okay, some hands went up, some didn't. All right, it has moved up. Last year it was April 23rd, but this year, if we did it in that time period, it would be on Good Friday. Probably not a good idea. If we moved it up a week, it would be on Tax Day. Also not a good idea. If we went forward, it would coincide with the golf tournament. Nobody will come. So we've moved it up to April 8th. Now, what that means is that the deadline for registration has also moved up to March 21st. So this is the begging part. We need a minimum of 550 to 600 realtors to do this project. And I tell people, this is kind of an obvious statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. Realtors Care Day would not exist as Realtors Care Day if realtors don't show up. You get it? So I need you there, and right now I only have about 100 volunteers signed up. So I need y'all today to go out and talk to your peers and your offices to make sure that they know that the project's moved up and that the deadline has moved up. Now, we've been working really, really hard on this project, probably since the week after we ended last year's. We have continued to improve our processes. I ask for your patience and indulgence in remembering that it's only our third year. We're still making some mistakes, but we're working really, really hard to overcome them. But again, I need your help, okay? So the other thing, if you've not been on this website, realtorscareday.com, how many of you have accessed this website? Not nearly enough. Okay, so everybody write this down, and I can be bossy as well as talkative. Write this website down. Go on there and look at the thank you notes that we received from some of the homeowners last year. The stories are incredible. Their gratitude is incredible. Did you know that in 2 years' time we've helped 64 families with an economic return of hundreds of thousands of dollars? Did you also know that Realtors Care Day helped Charlotte receive the designation from NAR of Ambassadors for Cities? Did any of you know that? Okay, here's another fun fact. Did you know that last year Charlotte was only one of 2 cities to receive that honor nationwide, all because of Realtors Care Day? Okay, one more fun fact. Yeah, clap. That's a big deal, isn't it? Yeah. Here's the third thing that's really impressive, and this is as a result of your leadership. Charlotte is the only city to have received that designation twice in the history of the program. And since NAR sunsetted it last year, yes, we will continue to hold that honor. Now, I share that with you because it's really important that you know the recognition that we've got on this for this program on a local, state, and national level. NAR is in discussions with us about piloting this on a national level. I could not be more proud of our members in this program. So please don't disappoint me and embarrass me by not showing up on April 8th. Please, put a little pressure on you there. Okay. I thank Steve Bird and Harmon Gill for helping us streamline our registration process. We've worked on it even again this year. You'll see down here you can sign up individually. You can join a team or you can create a team. For those of you who have agents and you're looking for a team building exercise, it's a great way to get out there and to do this project together. So this is what the sign up page looks like. I thank you in advance because I know you're going to come out and help us. Now, last year if you volunteered, you know that the t-shirt was fairly bright. I don't know what the color is going to be this year, but I have promised all the gentlemen involved that it will not be pink. But if you have some ideas, we'd love to hear them. I just want to close. I'm going to give you our contact information. You may not realize that the foundation, as the charitable arm of the association and a 501c3, it's Jessica and myself, and we receive a tremendous amount of support from the other staff. But it is just the 2 of us, so be patient with us if you call us. But here's our information if you want to touch base with us. I'm going to end by saying one thing. We had a recent board retreat, and we were all asked what brought us to the association and to work with realtors in the community. And my answer for me is very, very clear. I believe passionately in the ability of 7,000 realtors to change the community. And I hope that you'll join us on April 8th to start that process. Thank you. How did I do on time? Am I in trouble?
It was like more than 5 minutes. I was only 5.
I mean, 30 seconds.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Karen Lindsay, Vice President of Education for the Charlotte Regional Realtor Association, and I'm also Director of the Mingle School of Real Estate. So I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for being here. Really quick, I'm going to put you, connect you to some information on the Mingle website about education and training opportunities, and take you through a few things on CarolinaRealtors.com. First to know, if you guys know of any people who are interested in getting in the real estate business, there's information on the Mingle website about how to get your license and maintaining your license. And Mingle now offers monthly career nights, and our schedule is here. Our next one will be on March 1st. And one of the things I want you all to be aware about Mingle is the first half of the license year, July through December of 2010, we have an 85% pass rate for our students. And right now that's the highest pass rate of all the private schools in the Charlotte market. So when referring people to schools, please think of Mingle. The next thing I want to make you guys aware of regarding continuing education, we have our schedule of classes here at Mingle as well as our off-site locations. We're at like 6 different locations off-site, and you'll find our schedule is there for the whole CE season through June 10th. And we are adding more classes as we go along. But we've had a pretty aggressive schedule this fall, and the same thing this winter, probably more so than usual because of everyone needing to take the update as soon as possible. If you haven't or anyone in your office has it, they really should. They're offered several times a week, so there's plenty of opportunities for them to get that course. Here's an example of a list of classes coming up. One of the things I want to also mention is that we have 5 new different CE electives this year that are being offered, and if online electives are something that you prefer to take, we have 13 of those to choose from. And again, you'll find with most of our courses, from pre-licensing post to CE, we have one of the best pricing structures in the area as well. So our prices are very competitive in the market. Next thing I want to go to is professional development, and here's where you'll find a lot of information about designations, forms training, a little thing about agent for profit, which we're going to have a guest speaker speak about that in a minute, and managing for profit. But on the professional development tab, you'll get information about special classes that are coming up that are really geared toward the realtors to help develop their skills. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong. On our designation and certification page, we highlight the designation classes that are coming up. For example, next week, the Senior Real Estate Specialist, and then we'll have At Home with Diversity coming up on February 23rd. And this is a great certification class, and this association is very committed to diversity. And the first 50 members that enroll in this course can take this course at no fee. And it does give CE credit, so if they do want CE credit, they just pay an additional $10 for that. We also have, I'm sorry, this mouse, the green designation coming up in April. And we also partner with different organizations where we might not be the sponsor for the designation class, but they want to bring it to the Charlotte market. So what better place to bring it but to the association? Because many of our realtors are interested in the in staging. This is something we've done for about 4 years right now. Next, I just want to mention on our resource page here, there's more information, again, about forms changes and training. I'm going to click on that real quick. We mentioned earlier that we were doing free forms training, and we are going to be scheduling more. We've had about 10 of them so far, and we're going to get some more on the schedule, but you'd find them right here at this link. And then there's further information on this page about from NCR about the form changes. There's a video that you can link to, and all kinds of information there. Again, our policies are here. One of the things I want to mention to the firm that we actually have recruiting opportunities. Hopefully most of you are aware of that. You get a recruiting brochure from us. It's actually here on our website. So if you're looking to identify new agents for your firm, you could come to our pre-licensing classes and get an opportunity to meet and network with them. So all that information is right here on our website. And now I want to get back to Carolina Realtors. One of the things I want to mention here on our home page is generally where you'll get a complete listing of all of the upcoming events. Like today's event, we have our next hot topics on tax strategies for real estate professionals, And how many of you were aware that we had a young professional network here at the association? All right. They are doing different kinds of education programs as well, and they have a great program coming up next week on blogging and Twitter, and it's open to all members. We are also partnering with financial institutions. They want to reach the realtor community, and Bank of America is going to be hosting one of their sessions here, and that's on February 22nd. Now, they told me the end of yesterday that it was almost full, so I don't know if there's any more space, but I would think that we put it up on Monday and it was full by Thursday. They're pretty pleased that they're going to have a packed room. And then there's information here about the Workforce Housing Certificate Program, that's training that Terry and her group are involved in. And then our next broker briefing, we try to bring some of the same programs or different programs to our members in the northern region, and all of those will be listed here. With regards to our events, if you didn't get a chance to attend one of them, a lot of times, what's happening here? Okay. Oftentimes we might have information from those events on the website. So, for example, if you wanted to attend a hot topic on something and something came up at the last minute, you can oftentimes find information here on the website, the resources and information that was shared in the program. The same thing with broker briefings here. And Tech Open House, which we hosted this past November. The presentations for most of the speakers from that event are right here on the web page. The last thing I want to make sure you're aware of, we did a broker briefing the end of last year about it with regards to the professional approach to real estate. And this is a great tool that the Education Advisory Group developed for our members. And it provides different kinds of training modules, and I'm getting to it right here, under Ethics and Complaints, Professional Courtesies. You click there, and these are different training modules that are available for you to use in training sessions in your office, or you can either just have your agents look at them individually. They're narrated, and they're very easy to read, go through their PowerPoint presentations. So, and their Q&A sessions at the end of each one. So they're very good resource to train and give your agents more tools.